Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I offer an update on the case of Sean Combs, including his federal indictment? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the summary of the indictment, then offer my analysis. Sean Combs is a well-known rapper and businessman whose career started in 1990. Over the years, he has gone by the names Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and just Diddy. He owns several businesses, including a marketing agency, record labels, a recording studio, a television network, a media company, an alcohol business, and an apparel line. This has made Sean a billionaire. Despite being exceptionally wealthy, or perhaps because of it, Sean has frequently engaged in controversial behavior. For example, in 1999, he was charged with attacking a record executive with a champagne bottle. In 2001, he was arrested for driving with a suspended license. In 2007, Sean was sued after allegedly punching a man outside a nightclub. In 2017, he was sued by his former personal chef. She claimed that he conducted harassment of a sexual nature. In November 2023, Sean was sued by a former romantic partner named Cassie Ventura. Among her many allegations, she claimed that Sean arranged to have male sex workers engage in activity with her as he watched. She also accused him of committing an assault of a sexual nature. Cassie's lawsuit settled one day after it was filed. Right after this, Sean was sued by two other women who made similar accusations. Sean was sued again in December 2023 and in February 2024. Feeling the pressure from all these lawsuits, Sean released a statement indicating people were trying to destroy his legacy and damage his character. On March 25, 2024, federal agents raided properties in Los Angeles and Miami connected to Sean. The government indicated that the raid was related to allegations involving firearms, illegal narcotics, and offenses of a sexual nature. On April 4, 2024, Sean was accused by a former employee of committing an assault of a sexual nature against her in December 2022 while she was working on a yacht that he had chartered. This same month, April 2024, surveillance video was released that captured an incident involving Sean and Cassie in March of 2016 in a hotel in Los Angeles. Despite the fact that Cassie's lawsuit had already settled, this video was damaging to Sean's reputation. He was captured grabbing Cassie by her neck, throwing her to the floor, and kicking her a couple of times. After that, he dragged her for a few feet. This behavior appeared to be criminal. However, the statute of limitations had expired. In response to this video, Sean released an apology, which I covered in a separate video. Essentially, he said that his behavior was inexcusable and he took full responsibility. He was committed to being a better man and attended therapy. The video concluded with Sean saying, "I'm truly sorry." In May 2024, Sean was sued by a woman who accused him of committing an assault of a sexual nature against her 4 times from the mid-1990s to the early 2000s. In June 2024, Howard University revoked Sean's honorary doctorate. In July of that year, a woman sued Sean for allegedly coercing her into sex work. Sean found himself the target of another lawsuit a few months later. On September 16, 2024, Sean was arrested and charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He was denied bail. Here is a summary of the indictment. It's important to note that these are only allegations. Sean maintains the presumption of innocence. According to the government, over the course of several years, Sean has demonstrated a pervasive pattern of mistreating women. At various times, this mistreatment featured physical, sexual, emotional, and verbal components. Using his position of power as the owner of several companies, Sean regularly coerced women into participating in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. Sean referred to these encounters as freak-offs. These events often occurred in hotel rooms and were facilitated by Sean's employees and associates like personal assistants, supervisors, security personnel, and household staff. They helped Sean arrange and conceal these sexual encounters. Sean was the leader of a criminal enterprise. The female victims participated in the freak-offs due to intimidation, threats, drugs, Sean's influence over their careers, offers of financial support, and through violence. The freak-offs were elaborate sexual performances that Sean arranged, directed, and often video recorded. During these events, Sean would engage in self-service activity. Sometimes sex workers were transported across state lines and internationally to participate. The events would sometimes last multiple days and involve multiple sex workers. In advance of a freak-off, Sean's associates would stock the hotel rooms with linens, lighting equipment, baby oil, and lubricant. When the police raided Sean's properties in Los Angeles and Miami, they seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. The dedication and innovation behind Sean's lubrication preparation indicated that he had an expectation of recreation and celebration. During the activity, controlled substances were distributed to the victims, which kept them compliant. Sometimes Sean would engage in violent behavior, including punching, dragging, kicking, striking, and throwing objects. Victims often sustained injuries that took days or weeks to heal. Sean would coerce his victims to remain concealed until they recovered, so they would not be observed by the public and expose his criminal activity. In addition to all the other methods of manipulation he deployed, Sean kept the recordings that he made as collateral to ensure the continued silence of his victims. After an event, Sean would often use IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. His associates would clean the hotel rooms for him. The charges that Sean faces are very serious. If convicted, he is facing a maximum penalty of life in prison. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. Sean has a long criminal history, but he has never faced anything like racketeering. This charge is an organized crime which involves engaging in a pattern of illegal activities. Only 0.4% of defendants in federal cases go to trial and are acquitted. The remainder of the defendants who avoid being convicted do so by getting their charges dismissed, but that does not seem likely in this case. The government is aware that Sean is not only a billionaire, but he has a reputation of concealing his crimes. They probably expect him to intimidate or pay off witnesses, destroy evidence, and target his victims. It doesn't look like Sean is going to deny that these freak-offs occurred, rather that no crime was committed during them. For example, Sean's defense attorney told the court that the sex acts featured in the indictment were consensual. The vast majority of federal cases result in a guilty plea. However, Sean appears determined to fight the charges in court. A guilty plea is probably a better move for him because the government may offer him some way to avoid spending his entire life in prison. Item number 2. It says something about Sean's thought process, that he decided to remain in the United States even after his properties were raided in March 2024. He must have known that serious federal charges were on the way, yet he did not bother to flee the country. Sean could have gone to a country that does not have an extradition treaty with the United States, such as Ukraine, Congo, Vietnam, Indonesia, Cambodia, or Taiwan. A lack of an extradition treaty does not mean that a country will not extradite someone to the United States, but Sean is extraordinarily wealthy. There are countries where citizenship can be obtained by investment, for example, Morocco and Hong Kong. If Sean had become a citizen in a country like that, he could not have been extradited no matter what. Sean demonstrated an unrealistic amount of confidence by staying around and waiting to be arrested. He is so accustomed to getting what he wants, it never occurred to him that he could go to prison for life. Sean probably thought that he could manipulate the government just like he manipulated his victims. Even 1,000 bottles of lubricant would not be enough to let Sean slide out of this trouble. Item number 3, what do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Sean Combs is self-centered, grandiose, impulsive, irresponsible, immature, hedonistic, materialistic, vindictive, petty, cold, callous, manipulative, deceptive, sadistic, has a sense of entitlement, and is exceedingly creepy. He was able to leverage these traits to achieve tremendous financial success in the music industry. Fame and fortune led to Sean never being alone. He was always surrounded by an extremely loyal entourage who would have done anything to keep the party going. They viewed being near Sean as some type of privilege, and they were excited to do his bidding. Sean found himself in trouble a few times, but largely avoided meaningful consequences. It didn't take long before Sean realized that he could conceal just about any crime using his position of power. He was eager to let his sadistic nature run free and arranged the freak-offs, as he called them. The behavior that excited Sean was watching other people have sex as he maintained a tight grip on the action. With gallons of lubricant on hand, Sean developed a well-oiled criminal machine, which allowed him to slip through the cracks. Once he started engaging in his sexual events, Sean convinced himself that he had made a slick move. He was never going to lose his handle on the situation. It was a slippery slope, but there was no friction from Sean's associates. They were happy to grease the wheels and slide everything into place to meet Sean's desires. Sean was never really concerned about his enterprise going down the the tube, going down the tube. If Sean had been less ambitious, he probably could have escaped justice, but he was crushed under the weight of his own sadism. He just couldn't get enough. The more he engaged in the freak-offs, the more he wanted. He may have had access to an ocean of lubricant, but he was stuck in a rut. No quantity of grease will allow Sean to slip through the bars of his jail cell. He is a prisoner of his own dark desires. Those are my thoughts in the case of Sean Combs. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They consistently generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.